What if I told you that the most dangerous planet in our solar system isn't the one with the massive storms, isn't the one closest to the sun, and it's not even the one with rings made of ice? It's actually the one that looks the most beautiful from Earth. Venus. That soft, glowing light you see in the evening sky is hiding one of the most terrifying atmospheres ever discovered in the universe. And the deeper scientists dig into its secrets, the more disturbing the truth becomes. Here's what nobody tells you in school. Venus is your neighbor. It's the closest planet to Earth. It's roughly the same size as Earth. Scientists once called it Earth's twin. And for decades, people actually believed Venus might be habitable, lush, possibly full of life. But that was before we sent probes there, before we actually looked. And what we found shattered every romantic idea anyone ever had about Venus being anything close to a second home. The atmosphere of Venus is approximately 96.5% carbon dioxide. Let that number land for a second. 96.5%. On Earth, carbon dioxide makes up only about 0.04% of our atmosphere. That small fraction is already causing the climate crisis we are living through right now. Melting ice caps, rising sea levels, extreme weather events. Scientists are in emergency meetings about that 0.04%. Now imagine 96.5%. That's not just a different planet. That's a completely different level of hell. But wait, it gets worse. And this is the part that most people completely overlook. That overwhelming concentration of carbon dioxide has created what scientists call a runaway greenhouse effect on Venus. This means the heat that enters the atmosphere from the sun cannot escape. It gets trapped permanently. So while Venus is actually farther from the sun than Mercury, Venus is hotter than Mercury. Let me say that again because it should break your brain a little. Mercury is closer to the sun. Mercury should be hotter. But Venus, with its suffocating carbon dioxide blanket, reaches surface temperatures of approximately 465 degrees Celsius, which is 869 degrees Fahrenheit. Hot enough to melt lead. Hot enough that your spacecraft, your rover, your probe, literally melts before it can send back enough data. The Soviet Union sent multiple Venera probes to Venus between the 1970s and 1980s. These were some of the toughest machines humans ever built, specially designed to survive extreme pressure and heat. The longest any probe survived on the surface of Venus was about 127 minutes. 2 hours. Then they were crushed and melted into silence. 2 hours. That is how hostile this planet is. And here's where the controversy starts. Here's where scientists start disagreeing and debates get heated. In 2020, a team of researchers published a study in the journal Nature Astronomy, claiming they detected phosphine gas in the atmosphere of Venus. Why does that matter? Because on Earth, phosphine is produced by biological organisms, meaning living things. The scientific community exploded. Some were calling it the potential discovery of alien life. Media went into overdrive. But then other scientists reviewed the data, questioned the methods, and the debate is still not fully resolved to this day. As of the most recent analysis in 2023 and into 2024, the scientific community remains divided. Some researchers still believe there is a chemical signal worth investigating. Others say the initial detection was a data error. Nobody has a final answer yet. And that unresolved mystery is sitting right there in our neighboring planet's sky, just waiting. Now here's something that will genuinely change how you see Venus forever. The remaining roughly 3.5% of Venus's atmosphere is mostly nitrogen, with tiny amounts of sulfur dioxide, argon, water vapor, and carbon monoxide. That sulfur dioxide is particularly brutal because it combines with water vapor in the upper atmosphere to create thick clouds of sulfuric acid. The clouds that make Venus look so beautiful and bright from Earth are clouds of acid. Literal acid rain falls on Venus. Although researchers note the acid typically evaporates before reaching the surface due to the extreme heat. But the clouds themselves, those gorgeous, shimmering layers you see in telescope images, are made of something that would dissolve you. And the atmospheric pressure on the surface of Venus is about 92 times greater than Earth's surface pressure. That's equivalent to being nearly 1 kilometer underwater on Earth. So even if the temperature didn't kill you, even if the acid clouds didn't destroy you, the pressure would crush you completely before you had time to process what was happening. Here's the thought that should genuinely unsettle you. Scientists believe that billions of years ago, Venus may have actually had liquid water on its surface. There are models suggesting Venus might have been habitable for up to 3 billion years. Earth is approximately 4.5 billion years old, and life began here roughly 3.5 to 4 billion years ago. That means Venus potentially had the time, the conditions, the window, and something went catastrophically wrong. A runaway greenhouse effect consumed everything. And today, NASA's Da Vinci mission and ESA's Envision mission are both in development specifically to study Venus and answer this haunting question. Because if Venus was once like Earth, and Venus became what it is now, then what does that mean for us? Carbon dioxide is already rising on our planet. We are already seeing effects that 100 years ago would have seemed like science fiction. Scientists are not saying Earth will become Venus. They are saying Venus is the clearest warning in our solar system of what an unchecked greenhouse effect looks like at its absolute extreme. Venus isn't just a planet. It's a mirror. And what it's reflecting back at us is something we should all be paying very close attention to. Follow this page right now because what we cover next will completely change the way you look at our solar system, our climate, and the future of this planet you're standing on. Now tell me this in the comments. If scientists confirm tomorrow that Venus was once habitable and something we still don't understand destroyed it, would that change the way you think about climate change on Earth?